Yo, what up? Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks to humans for bringing us in. And as always, thank you for your continued support of the show. This is Seth Manter, and you are listening to Sober Guy Radio. So on today's episode, I got the homie Shane on the other side of the mic. What up, Shane?
Yo, what's up? What's up? Coming to you from San Jose, California, in another hotel room. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
Gotta love the road traveling.
Right?
So today we're gonna get into a little self-guilt, shame, some self-love, do a little chaotic rambling, talk about how to manage stress and stay in the moment for sure. Been struggling with that for a little bit. But before I get into that, check us out on www.thatsoberguy.com. There's a bunch of resources there. You can check out all our past episodes. You could also get information on upcoming live shows and events. And if you feel so inclined, you could hit me up on the Instagram. Definitely new to the Instagram, so hit me up on that shit.
Look at that. So stoked to see you on Instagram, too. Yeah. I pop my feed open, and it's like Sober Guy Seth. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Hit me up on Instagram at Sober Guy Seth. Also, you could email me at seth@thatsoberguy.com. Super pumped to announce that on Friday, September 7th at 7 p.m., we'll be hosting our very first live podcast event at the Phoenix Theater in Petaluma, California. Super honored to be joined by special guest TJ Woodward. TJ is the author of best-selling book, Conscious Being. He is also the author and creator of Conscious Recovery. We'll be talking a little bit of shit, talking some recovery, some mindfulness. It's definitely going to be a good time. This shit will sell out for sure. So you could go to www.thephoenixtheater for tickets. There's also a link on thatsoberguy.com. Just click on there and get your tickets.
Oh, yeah. Get you some tickets. What are they? 10? I think they're $10. And I think you're right. It's going to sell out. They're only selling like 200. I think 200 seats are available at the Phoenix. So I'm pumped about it, bro. It's so crazy because it's the first one. So we're just going to go out, like you said, talk some shit, have some fun. Stoked to have TJ there. Man, it's only 4 weeks away, 5 weeks away. It's going to come quick.
Yeah, and dude, and the other thing too, man, the Phoenix is a super dope spot, dude. Got to drive by there a couple weekends ago now, and it's fucking super sick. It's just kick back, chill. They keep the doors open for a super good cause. So yeah. If anything, man, if you don't want to come out and fucking see our asses, come out and check the theater out. It's super cool. Super cool. So today, man, I wanted to get into a little bit of guilt and shame, dude. Definitely been dealing with that over the last weekend. Somehow, some way, fucking was able to pull myself up out of that. Just a little quick backstory. The wife and I got into a little conversation about our future and started talking about, where we want to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And the toughest conversation that came up was we were talking about finances.
I'm sure there was no disagreements there.
Absolutely not, dude. And I have never, ever, ever been able to talk about finances, dude. I've always sucked at it. I've always sucked at talking about it. And the idea got brought up that, we may have to look at liquidating some of our shit, some of our fucking personal belongings. And right off the bat, dude, I fucking took that shit personal. I was like, you know what? I work hard. I'll be able to, I deserve to go out and buy whatever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want. And then, so I definitely felt a sense of attachment to the fucking materialistic, stupid shit that I have in my life. And I always find, dude, just walking around the house, dude, it's like I look through our house and, there's rooms just full of furniture that no one sits on. And I always say, for what? So it's always funny that I have this, attachment to the materialistic shit.
Do you have any plastic on the couch?
No, actually, you know what? We just took it off.
Oh, man, dude. You got to keep that shit on. The plastic is crucial when trying to keep a good couch.
Hell yeah, dude. My in-laws, they still have their plastic on the seats in the dining room. It's fucking hilarious. And they use that table, right? It's not like just the one to look at. It's the one they use. It's fucking comedy. I love you sit down, the seat all crinkles and shit.
Hey, but it looks new.
Yeah, but it looks new. obviously that conversation brought up, a lot of guilt in myself, where it got brought up to the point to where we can't live the way that we're living anymore if we want to get where we're going to be in 5, 10, 15 years. And that's not the way that the conversation was intended to go. I took that shit personal in my own head, and started to feel guilty for some of the decisions that we had made in our financial situation. And as I let that guilt build up inside me, it definitely turned into shame. And I started to think, because of the bad situations that I had done, made me a fucking terrible person. Dude, and it's so crazy, like over a course of probably a half hour to an hour, like I shut everything out, dude. That's the only thing that I could think about is selling my couch that I just tore the fucking plastic off, or having to get rid of fucking one of the cars, some stupid shit. Like that's all I could focus on how it was going to affect my life. And I had this thought in my head that, if I was a better person, I'd be better with my finances, and that wouldn't even be a question. So definitely started to isolate, pull away from the conversation, got up, walked away, went in the other room and told Mel, like, I don't even want to fucking talk about it anymore. Definitely let that shit fester on me all fucking night long, dude. And I could feel like the energy sucked out of my body, dude. Ended up sleeping on the couch that night. Like I didn't even want to go to bed.
On your new couch that you don't want to give up?
Yeah. Slept on the Look, babe, I'm using it. There's no need for us to get rid of this shit.
Nobody sits on this motherfucker, but I'm sleeping on it tonight.
Yeah. So it was super, and it kind of spilt into the next morning, dude. Like I still felt super irritated. And the crazy thing is that throughout the next day, like I had totally agreed with Melanie, you know what I mean? Like we had the conversation again. I was like, I did some thinking. I totally agree with you. I get what you're saying. Like that would be, obviously the most important thing for us to do is really determine what is important to us and how we could get there. Right.
Yeah.
And I agreed with her. And then no sooner than probably an hour later, it was like I was right back into that fucking guilt and shame because I started to fester on it. So I got tired of that feeling, right? And I awoke to the thought, like, dude, I can't feel like this all weekend. For one, I'm gonna ruin the fucking time that I have with my wife, for the next couple of hours before she goes. She's in fucking Disneyland right now.
That's right.
That, right? So before she goes to Disneyland, I wanted to have, a good couple hours with her. We're going to a birthday party, wanted to be able to hang out, have a good time. So definitely dove back into a little bit of mindfulness and did a meditation, had a super dope meditation session and did some readings, dude. And I became aware of where that guilt was coming from, and I learned, and I truly believe what I learned, that the guilt that I was having was because I had some sorts of my morality had become broken, and I was fucking angry at myself. Totally healthy, right? Because it keeps you out. Guilt keeps you in line with your morals. It's when I started to turn that shit into shame, thinking that I was a bad person because of some of the things that I had done in the past, made me a fucking horrible person.
Yeah.
Dude, and it makes me like, even just talking about that shit right now is a huge weight being lifted off. Like, obviously, I wasn't able to get over it right away, and there's still been those thoughts in the back of my head. But realizing that, even today in sobriety, like I still have to deal with this shit.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think it's great, dude. I think that, dude, so number one, bro, you're definitely not the only one who struggles with that financial conversation. With Jess and I, it's the same thing. And we actually just talked about this the other day. it's such a tough thing. So whether, I'm dealing with it in my personal sense or coming together as a couple and talking about finances, it always seems to end up in some sort of like positive way a lot of the time, although it gets ironed out usually and we come to some sort of agreement, but it's a tough conversation to have. And next to that, on a personal front, I feel like I can relate to you totally on like my financial situation used to be absolutely terrible, and it's definitely came a long way. And I'm doing a lot better than I was doing before, getting evicted and getting our power shut off and not paying bills and not having money and spending it on drugs and alcohol was pretty much the kind of the circle, just 5-6 years ago. And, now it's a whole lot better than that, but it's still stressful, dude. It still stresses me out. And I make more money today than I've ever made in my life. And I'm not fucking rich by any means. I make a decent living, have a decent job, I can take care of my family, but like, dude, there's shit that comes up. There's, regular financial stuff that is a huge stress that does bring up those feelings of guilt. Like if I do make a mistake, I revert back to that old feeling that I used to have when I felt like a real piece of shit because I couldn't take care of business. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff starts to come up. And now that I'm kind of talking this out, I'm thinking that that's probably because I haven't fully dealt with all that stuff and let all of it go yet. So that's a good thing for me to kind of address right now as I'm moving into this next session of step work that I'm going through right now.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And I think it's super important too. Like, I think we will always have guilt. Like, we won't always carry it all the time. But I think that guilt will always come back and quote unquote haunt us. Yeah. It's one of our, survival tactics as being a human. It's a sign that we have wronged against what we believe to be morality or what we believe to be correct. And I truly believe that, guilt, if used if used in a right state of mind, it could be helpful.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
When it hinders my growth is when I start to think that I'm a bad person because I have guilt right now, or what I have guilt over makes me a fucking horrible person.
Well, like you kind of were saying earlier, that guilt kind of it can be used in a positive to help you keep in line, like morally, with certain moral things, and you can apologize, you can do right by it, you can try to learn from that. I think it's funny though too how men especially, and I'm sure women do this too, but I'm a man, so I'll speak for myself and for men too. Like we identify through how financially stable we are a lot of the time. Yeah. Like I identify, like I know damn well, like when I get paid and I got a shitload of money sitting in my account, whether it's all going to go to bills or not, I feel a lot more secure and better than when I pay all the bills and then here's X amount of dollars left over and I only have this much to get through, till the next time I get paid or till this check comes in or whatever. It's a different feeling sometimes. And that's been a huge thing for me trying to figure out, like, because, well, let me say this first too. I went from, not making hardly any money and constantly struggling to making a decent amount of money where I can pay my bills. But no matter what, I always feel like it's that old saying, the more money you make, the more money you spend, it feels like. And maybe that's just me, not being 100% financially sound as I think I should be. Like, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I know that that's something that I still struggle with, is feeling that stress and trying to learn, because I feel like I'm the one that weighs on, you know what I mean? I have a family and stuff. I got, things to take care of. I got business to take care of, kids to take care of, a family to take care of. And it's a lot of stress sometimes to have to deal with that. And I think it starts with just being able to talk about it. So, that's something Jess and I have to continue to work on too. It's not a fun conversation to have. It's not my favorite. And one of the things I feel the most guilty about is when I take a dump in the morning and the bathroom stinks, and then the kids and Jess walk in and they go, "What? Oh God, Dad, I'm sorry, I ran out of air freshener." I just wanted to add that in there real quick.
Guilt, yeah, that shit don't bring me guilt. I'm fucking proud when I sweep the bathroom up.
You're like a champion, throwing
For
your
sure.
hands in the air. That's what I won.
For sure.
But
so yeah, and then along with that guilt, dude, and something that was really crazy that came up through that whole situation, through the guilt and the shame, like I got into the mode of fucking self-hate. Like it was, dude, we're talking probably about maybe a 16-hour window, dude, maybe 12-hour window. And it's crazy, dude, how quick that guilt and shame fucking ran away, dude. Like I found myself kind of like in the fetal position on the floor in the fucking living room. Like I swapped back and forth, from the floor, the couch, the couch. Like, dude, and all I could think about was, that I was a fucking horrible person. I'll never get out of this, dude. I'm so attached to, there's no way that I could live without this materialistic stuff. There's no way that I could live without this fucking couch, or how would I deal with an empty fucking living room? You know what I mean? And it was, dude, it was so crazy.
That shit is crazy.
After, for me, like the only way that I'll ever get out of feeling that way is to get back into, this program that I've developed. Right.
Yeah.
And, Mel even told me, she was like, dude, have you gone and fucking just sat? Have you done any meditation practice over the last couple of days? And
it's so funny how you can tell when you haven't done that shit, like that shit starts creeping up,
Yeah. And it's, dude, so that's something that, I think is super important. You know what I mean? I got a little bit of time, dude. And I'm always haunted by this, not haunted, but reminded that is the moment that I disconnect from my program and community, or just talking about the way that I feel, is the exact fucking moment that I slip back into my old fucking behaviors. Right. Good thing, I don't know, good thing, bad thing is that I was able to feel that shit. That's one big thing that sobriety has brought me, is the ability to feel and not want to fucking run away from those.
Actually face them
for sure, and face them fucking head on.
Yeah, it's not a fun thing a lot of the time, and not it's definitely not easy either. But I think it's so important to stay plugged in, staying locked in. Having a mentor, a sponsor, working some sort of program, all that good stuff, because it doesn't. Different days have different challenges and different triumphs and all that shit. One of the things too, man, like with real quick, back to the material stuff. It's just like, I've been thinking a lot about this week, especially with, with Chris from Dopey passing away over this last week, man. That's like really hit me hard for some, and I don't mean for some reason to be disrespectful to him. I just mean, at first I thought, man, like you're kind of being a little bit dramatic about it. It's not like you knew him great. And that was like beside the point. Like I didn't know him great, but I knew him enough to know, and it didn't even matter if I didn't know him at all. I knew that he made a huge impact, and he had his own struggles and addiction. And it just goes to show kind of what you were saying, that even when we are locked in, and when we have a community, and when we have, something that we're passionate about doing, you have to stay vigilant about that shit and be on point, because you never fucking know when something can creep up. And that kind of led me into thinking a lot about this week. And it even goes back to some of the podcasts that I put out on Friday last week, just about the possessions and materialistic stuff. Like we don't come into the world with any of it, and we sure as shit don't leave with any of it. So at the end of the day, does it really fucking matter? Like, I mean, when we really put it into perspective, it really doesn't matter. And I know that's easy to say. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't want to have a decent home for my family and, drive a decent car that's not breaking down all the time and shit, because I've been there too. But at the same time, like, what is important, and how do you kind of deal with that stuff and understand it? And I think that goes back to what you were saying. It goes to sitting in prayer, to sitting in meditation, to sitting quiet and getting to know yourself and getting to know what's going on around you, and trying to understand that all that stuff is just fucking stuff. It doesn't have it really doesn't matter in the end.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, dude, because as long as I am connected, um, and not irritable and don't have feelings of discontent, like the materialistic shit, I could care less about. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I could give two fucks. If my program is strong, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I've gotten into fucking reading a lot. If some good stuff and meditation. Started doing some fucking yoga, dude, and that's
Yeah.
been super helpful. Um, and then just being in the right mind state. I find when I fall out of that, or when I put that shit on hold for a day or two, the first thing that comes back for me, like a sign that I need to reconnect and that I need to meditate, is the materialistic shit becomes super important to me.
Hmm.
Like that is the first thing that I begin to worry about when I'm practicing, when I'm meditating. I could give two fucks about the materialistic shit for
Yeah.
sure. So thanks for
No,
saying that's.
you know what I'm really materialistic about? My shoes. I love some good shoes, dude. My shoes got to be clean. They got to be nice looking. I think I'm a little bit obsessive about my shoes, actually. I don't know
Yeah,
if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you could tell a lot by a person's shoes.
I'd have to agree with that, dude. I'm on the shit kick too. I mean, so in the summer it's flip flops, dude, and I
Yeah.
can't
Your
just roll.
thongs. Go
I
get your
just gotta
thongs
get my
on.
thongs on. I can't just roll with the fucking black player of flip flops, dude. Like
Yeah.
the other day, I was wearing something. I was like, damn, a nice brown pair of flip flops would go with this, and I fucking obsessed about having some
Yeah.
brown flip
Rainbows,
flops
baby.
all
I
day.
got the brown rainbows. Dude, they're the shit. I need to get some new ones, though, because mine are wore out. I got some stinky-ass feet in the summertime. But, dude, I'm with you, bro. Like the style, definitely. I like a little style, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. I don't want to look like I just woke up every day and rolled out of bed, but I don't know where the hell I'm going with that, other than I got some badass checkered Vans on right now.
Oh yeah, they black and whites.
Black and white slip-ons, had to pick some up because I needed them. I needed these Vans in addition to my 6 other pairs of Vans. I had to have them. I mean, that goes back to the point.
Gotta have them. I did see a pair of nice black and white checkers, but they had fucking dinosaur toes like breaking through the checkers.
Really? Yeah, they have some different. Yeah, they have some crazy ass ones at the Vans outlet too. They have like all kinds of superhero stuff going on and all kinds of nice stuff.
Yeah, faux show. So, dude, another thing, man, that I want to talk about is like fucking stress management. You know what I mean? How stress management has been fucking super important to me over the last couple days, dude, or couple weeks, couple months. Definitely been feeling a little bit of a stress with the fucking podcast for sure. Trying to set some boundaries with time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I come home, I get on the computer, and it seems like it's causing it's another thing for me to do. Right?
Totally. Oh yeah, trust me, bro. I know. And can I just interrupt you really quick? I don't want to throw you off too much, but I have to ask you this so I don't forget, because I thought about this today, dude. And I'm like, this is kind of just to just make me feel a little better. So I almost apologize in advance for even asking this. But does it make a little more sense to you now? Because it's going to make me feel better depending on what you say here. But do you understand a little bit more now about the work that goes into like a podcast and just doing it, even just like putting the content together and all that? Because I guess I'm being a little bitch right now. And sometimes I would feel like, oh, nobody understands it. I'm so fucking exhausted and whatever. But dude, it's a lot of shit, right?
No, it most definitely is, dude. And that's like, I'll get back to that.
Sure.
But that's where a lot of, especially yesterday, dude, like I was stressing the fuck out, dude. Like I was trying to put together a little monologue. I had these great topics. I even, was talking to myself when I was waiting in line at the car wash. Went to the grocery store, was kind of, going through it in my head. came home, dude, sat down, turned on the mic, plugged everything in, was super pumped, dude, because I must admit, like, this shit's hella fun. Like, regardless, no matter what, there is a lot of work that goes into it for sure. But it's kind of become a new obsession to me.
Yeah.
But yesterday, like, the stress definitely, after I was sitting at my computer and mic for fucking, after hour 6, I think I told you I had like 152 recordings on the Tascam that were about 20 minutes long each, dude. And
oh shit,
I found that, you know, I was trying to be perfect. Right. Mm-hmm. And so, that's one thing that I've learned that causes me stress, is trying to be, for lack of a better term, better than I am. You know what I mean? Or expecting perfection.
Yeah.
Expecting more out of myself, dude, and not accepting that I need to grow, like, in order to get better at anything. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
So, you know, and trying to make something up kind of in my head was definitely causing me a little bit of stress. And this plays out like in my real life for sure, dude. You know what I mean? Is when I don't think I'm doing good enough, it causes stress and fucking irritability and anxiety and all those horrible fucking feelings.
Plus, all those people at the car wash and the grocery store say, "What is this weird guy doing? Fucking talking to himself."
Yeah, dude. I definitely got a couple looks in line, dude. You know, to practice a little. You know, gave him the little head nod and said, "Oh, what's up?" You know. yeah. I'm talking to myself for sure. But so, what was your initial question that I totally fucking probably derailed?
Oh no. You already hit on it. It was just saying about how much, you know, just like. I don't think sometimes people understand like the work that goes into putting, you know, just even just the recording the podcast. I mean, in itself, you know what I mean? Let alone the pre-production, post-production. I mean, all that nerdy stuff that talk about sometimes. So I was just getting a little on my high horse about, you know what I mean? Like that. But I'd rather hit on the fact that you said too, like how much fun it is. Like, and I don't care how much work it is. I love doing it. It seems to be that you love doing it as well. You know what I mean? And so all that stuff in there, but yeah, how do you handle the stress of it? Having, you know, I always say it's like wearing a bunch of different hats. We've talked about this before. You got, you know, I have my dad hat, my husband hat, my podcast hat, you know, all kinds of different hats to like, you know, do. And sometimes I feel like I'm like a clown in the circus, just juggling all kinds of things and trying to handle that. Sometimes, you know, it can be a little bit overwhelming, but that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, just being in tune with people around you, being able to talk about it, being in some sort of program, having outlets that are healthy outlets. Like I'm still going to the gym. Thankfully for the last couple of months, man, I got my ass back there and that's been huge. Just getting back in the squat rack, you know, and to your point of perfection, right? Here's a really good example for me. Like I've been going to the gym, you know, religiously for 2 months now. Like I haven't really missed that many days. We took the backpacking trip, got some great exercise there, but hand in hand with that is eating habits, right? Well, my eating habits they're okay, but they're definitely not as perfect as I want them to be. And that is something that, you know, that I struggle with. Like, man, you know, I need to be perfect at this. I need to eat exactly like this. And if I don't, then I suck today. You know what I mean? Why even go to the gym? And thankfully I've just said, fuck it. And I still go to the gym no matter if I ate 2 In-N-Out burgers the night before or not. You know what I mean? Cause I'll crush some double doubles, no doubt. But like, I guess what it all comes down to is I have to have grace on myself and I have to just do the best I can and just try to do the next right thing. And if I don't do it perfect, I got to just say, well, didn't do it perfect. Try a little bit harder next time. And just kind of let it go, dude, because otherwise I'll beat myself into the ground.
Yeah, definitely, dude. That's what, you know, that's definitely what I was leading to, man, is that, you know, having some grace, dude, and understanding like we're just doing the best that we could do.
Yeah.
I can't do better than my best, right? And also knowing that, not perfection, but being good at something will come with time. You know what I mean? Going back to, recovery and shit. Like I sucked at this shit for the first couple months that I got into recovery, and I suck at it when I don't stay connected. But as long as I'm doing my best and doing the next right thing, dude, like it's pretty fucking easy.
Yeah.
Now, with some time, with some teachings under my belt, some community, it's definitely become a lot easier. And I think that's one thing that, I expected, like,
but it's only easier when you're doing the work though, right? That's kind of what you're saying. Like you're doing the work and then it's like, man, okay, now I can see, some, I don't know. It just makes it more real, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely, dude. The ease doesn't just come. It's not, ease isn't a fucking natural instinct, dude. There's definitely work in all aspects of life that go into creating ease for things that could be daunting or fucking hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely, dude. I totally agree with that shit for sure. And then also, dude, like when you get to those certain situations, being able to fucking ask for help. You know what I mean? Like, so yesterday, dude, at hour 6, I fucking called you up. I was like, bro, I can't do this fucking monologue shit. Like, I need some motherfucking help. You think you could help me out? You think we could fucking record a little short little segment so that we could, put something out there for the listeners to enjoy. So that's super important, dude. And once I reached out and asked for help, the weight had been lifted, right?
Yeah.
And to be 100% transparent, like I think I even sent you a text message, like with the intention of asking for help. And you were like, yo, bro, do you need some help? And I was like, nah, I got this shit, right? And then
finally, I'm going to look it up right now. Yeah. That's how, dude, that's not, I mean, I get you though, bro. It's just like, it's crazy, dude. What did you say? Hold on, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, bro, fucking.
I'm struggling with the monologue. I'm fucking stuck. And then I kind of said, well, here's kind of what I do sometimes. Here's another option, or I can call you on a Zoom call tomorrow. And then you said, nah, never mind. It's coming together. Just feeling a little overwhelmed and being a pussy. And I started cracking up, man. But, in the end, yeah, exactly, dude. Said, no, we're going to do this thing. It's not easy sometimes, man, to just reach out. But it is at the same time. It's really easy. You just say, hey, I need a little help, no matter what. I'm not just talking about this. I'm just saying in anything for anyone out there listening too. Like, it's okay to get help. Like, that's why I didn't get help for the drinking problem I had and the drug problem I had for so long, because I didn't know how to reach out for help. So whether it's something big like that, that's a huge deal. You have a really big problem you need help with, or you need help recording a podcast. I mean, two totally different ends of the spectrum, but at the same time, it comes down to just reaching out and asking for some help, dude. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Drop the ego, drop the pride, drop all that bullshit that stops us, and holds us back from progressing. And not a big deal at all. You know what I mean? I actually was looking forward to this, man, chopping it up a little bit. I told you before we started, it's nice to be on the co-host side of it, man, and see you kind of rolling with it and leading the way, dude. It's fucking awesome. You're doing great.
Thanks, bub. Thanks for the little stroke there.
You're welcome.
So yeah, I just wanted to make a comment too, man, about, the ability to reach out. You know what I mean? Reaching out, I truly believe it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength, right? Like I want better than what I currently have. And in order for me to get there, like I'm going to have to ask for help. And you referenced your sobriety and you being able to finally get to that point in your life where you're like, I can't fucking do this shit anymore. And it's like you said, dude, that shit is most definitely fucking liberating.
Yeah.
For me, that the moment that I asked for help, yesterday included, like a whole a big weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Like, fuck, cool. So I was able to spend the last couple of hours of my night with the dog, dude. We went out back and fucking threw the ball around. Got to relax for sure, dude. So no matter what the task, you know what I mean? If you find that you're beating yourself up, it's okay. It's okay to ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge, bro. It's huge. I think, you know, one thing too, I think I want to point out, because I'm getting better, but I'm still guilty of this, is you were talking about, you know, we're thinking about what we want to get to, how we want to get better. We're constantly trying to improve. I know I am. I'm constantly trying to improve and get better. I want feedback. Like, how can I do things better? Not just on the podcast, but in all aspects from being a dad to all aspects of life. And you know what I notice happens a lot of the time, if I'm not conscious of it, is I'm so focused on being better, and I'm so focused on my goals and on where I want to be, that I forget to live right now, dude. And that goes back to that podcast I was talking on Friday last week about time and how precious time is and how important it is. I don't want to beat a dead horse, because if you're interested in it, you can go back and listen to last week's show. I think it's episode 207. But dude, time is to me, it's the most valuable thing in this life. Like, there's nothing more valuable than time. We'll never get any of that time back. And it's okay to have goals for me. And I have a lot of things that I want to do and dreams and all that stuff. And at the same time, if I'm not focusing in right now and where I'm at, and then that little journey to get to some of those goals and all that, like, what is it all for anyways? You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I've really been trying to work on lately. And just like you mentioned it, I think in the very beginning today, is being in the moment and being conscious of right now. That's a huge, huge thing, man. And I'm constantly struggling and constantly trying to work on that moving forward.
Yeah, for sure, dude. That is huge, man. Like, I still most definitely look at my feet fucking on a daily basis.
Oh yeah, I love that.
And I'll just share with the listeners, man. I can't remember if this was something that I learned at Azure Acres or if it was something that I read. It was along the lines of, when you find yourself being disconnected from present moment and you find your mind drifting, look at your feet. Mm-hmm. That'll bring you right back, right to where you are. And it works super good for me. And as long as I remember that, because it works for me, and remember to do that, it works every fucking time, dude. And it's so crazy that you bring that up, dude. Like, I was thinking about this shit a couple days ago, man. Like, I was checking out some pictures of the backpacking trip, because that shit, you know, was super dope, dude. And, you know, there was a lot of good, fun conversation, dude. But I remember hearing a lot like, oh yeah, dude, when we do this shit again, when we come back next, you know, we're going to do this. I can't wait to come back and bring, you know, my family back here, or I can't wait to go on this trip in a couple weeks, dude. And it's so crazy. Like, and obviously I was super guilty of that. I was deeply involved in those conversations with everyone that was on the trip, dude. And then, so like, when we got in the truck and we were driving back home, I was like, man, like, all that time that I spent thinking about the next time that I go, like, I probably missed some of the shit that was happening right then and there. And it's so crazy, dude, that no matter where we're at, as long as we're not conscious of present moment, that we could get caught up in the possibilities of next time.
Yeah.
And the only thing that is really guaranteed to all of us is present moment.
That's it. I could walk out and get hit by a fucking bus tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? God forbid that happens, obviously. But point being is, like, you got to live as much as possible. Because let's be real. It's just, I don't think that it's possible to do that at all times. I don't know, maybe some people can do it. It seems like it would be extremely difficult to do that 100% of the time. But if I can do it, you know, as much as possible, it's absolutely huge. And it's going to change a lot of things for me, because I think, especially with my own my own life and my own day-to-day grind and all that stuff, most of my anxiety and most of my feelings of uncertainty and anger, frustration, all those shitty things that pop up sometimes, most of it comes from future tripping, from thinking about shit that is out of my control or that I have to do, or when my mind starts to wander off. And most of the time when I'm in the moment, I don't deal with any of that stuff because I'm in the moment. And dude, back to meditation and prayer, dude, that's where it's at, bro. Like when I'm in that state, bro, everything is what it is, and it's right where it's supposed to be, just like where my ass is supposed to be sitting down, meditating or praying or whatever. Crazy stuff, bro.
Yeah, and for sure, dude, like it's always a work in progress, dude. Like I've found that when I get so detached from present moment, there are signs that come up at that particular time that I need to fucking step back.
Yeah.
It could be, as simple as sitting here right now and having the dog fucking scratch at my leg. He's telling me like, dude, I need you right now.
Hurry your ass up.
Or, sitting down and trying to do some work and having the kids that come up and fucking what we would take as bugging me, like, leave me alone, I'm busy, I need to get this shit done.
Yeah.
But to stop and put the work on hold for 30 minutes, dude, 45 minutes, and take that time and pay some attention to the kids or the wife, like, it speaks volumes in the end. And that's all it is. Like, you just need a little bit of time.
Dude, seriously, bro, I use death, and I know, it trips people out to talk about it and shit sometimes, and I get it, but like I use death as a positive tool for me, at least I have been lately, in the fact, and let me explain myself because that kind of sounded fucking weird, I feel like, but like just the instance you're talking about right now, I've been in that exact moment where I'm right in the middle of something and one of the kids will come up and want to play or need something or want something. And my first reaction, not my response, but my reaction is to be like, I got to get this shit done. Like, go away right now. I'll talk to you in a little bit or whatever. Right. And dude, like the more that I'm kind of practicing this stuff and trying to work on it and get better at it, now it's gotten to be where my initial response is, can this wait for a second? If it's not a fire and a freaking absolute emergency, can it wait? And 9 times out of 10, it can, for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? And the second thing is, if I were to die tomorrow, if I knew I was going to die tomorrow, would I spend 10 minutes with Cash or Lucy right now, or Jess, or whatever, whoever is important to me in that moment? Or would I continue doing this work? Because I'll tell you one thing, it ain't gonna say on my grave, obituary grave, whatever the fuck. He was a damn good worker. He worked his ass off. It ain't gonna say anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think I can take 10 minutes to step away from this super fucking important thing I'm doing, to tell my kids I love them and give them a hug and play fucking wrestling, or, play Barbies with, or play catch, whatever it is, or talk to my lady. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff right there has been, it's been really awakening and kind of enlightening to live by. And it just helps out a little bit. It ain't that fucking serious.
That's right, dude. It ain't that fucking serious. Well, bro, I just want to say again, man, thanks for the help, dude. Thanks for making time. Thanks for taking time out to give me a hand with this, dude. I was struggling with the fucking monologue yesterday.
So what was different for you today in doing the monologue? Because I have a feeling that it wasn't so much content related. I think it was, I'm just guessing, but maybe it was just in the moment and you just get so wrapped up in trying to be perfect at it, because I mean, and I guess it helps having a co-host or whatever too, but
yeah, I mean, it definitely helps talking to someone else.
Yeah.
But when I was thinking about it today, in the shower as I was getting ready to go to work, I was like, dude, I fucking prepared for a monologue for probably, I don't know, like a total of 36 hours. Like I had some shit written out.
Holy shit.
All all morning leading up to before I sat down on the computer, like I was going over some shit in my head. I was writing some shit down. And when I wasn't like following it the way that I wrote it out,
Yeah.
like, oh, no, that's not it. That's not the way it's supposed to be.
Stop, restart.
So trying to fabricate something was definitely hard, dude. Like the organicness of this, of just fucking shooting the shit with you,
Yep.
is so much easier.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think, you know, it goes back to the control thing, right? Like trying to control what was going to come out of my mouth at any given time rather than just fucking flowing with the shit, just flowing, like not really giving a fuck.
Yeah, for sure. Hell yeah, dude. And I think that's how we'll kind of approach the live show coming up too. I mean, I know we're going to have a little content outline there, of course, and be mindful of our guests and that kind of stuff too. But I think that's the best stuff. I think that's what people want to hear. I know for me as a podcast listener in the listening seat, when I listen to other shows, I like to hear some real and raw stuff, obviously with some good points and some good content, but I want to hear it straightforward. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people like that. I think that's why people like Sober Guy.
Yeah, for sure, dude. For sure.
Good shit, man.
I would, good shit. What's up? Any last parting comments?
Nah, man. Just just keep it real out there, guys. Have some fun. Enjoy recovery. Just enjoy life. Like even, it doesn't even have to be recovery. Just life in general, man. It's short. It goes by in the blink of an eye. And I think that we all have an opportunity every day to wake up and choose how we want to look at that day. Like you can choose to have a shitty attitude about it and say, my life sucks and I have this to worry about, because we all have shit to worry about. That it never goes away. There's always going to be something on our plates, but we can choose when we wake up, like how our attitude's going to be. And I find for me that when I wake up with some gratitude, and I'm grateful for what I do have and the positive things that are going on, that's when my days are the most enjoyable, and I really enjoy the time that I get to spend with family, friends, and just doing the shit that I like to do. So I would just encourage that, man. Have some fun out there and enjoy the rest of the week.
Yeah, good shit, man. Gratitude is definitely a good thing, and I'm going to challenge myself and you, the listeners out there, man. Over the next couple of days, dude, really focus on living in the moment, because the next moment isn't guaranteed. And for a little bit of accountability, like I'm gonna check back in on this shit. For me, it's all about the moment. Thanks for tuning in today, Shane. Thanks again, man, for joining us. Peace, love, respect, and keep your blood clean.
Son.
Out.